In 2021, I decided to exit the matrix that is the city of Philadelphia and move to the coast of Maine full time. As I adapt to the slower pace of life here, I find myself increasingly more aware of my surroundings and my inner self. I'm less distracted by the frantic pace that has become synonymous with suburban and urban living. As the son of a college professor, I had the good fortune of being able to spend the majority of my summers in Maine as a child. Finally, in 2001, I bought my own fixer-upper farmhouse on the coast and have had the pleasure of slowly renovating it over the past 20-odd years. There is just something about an old home and property. It emanates a soothing feeling while also instilling a sense of permanency. My twin boys, Owen and Coleman, who are now 18 and attending college in South Carolina, have spent every summer here since birth. I believe it has really made an impression upon both of them that will last a lifetime. The boys have been fortunate. As an entrepreneur that owned a handful of mail-order internet businesses during the 90s and early 2000s, I was able to work remotely during the summer months. I have always placed a higher value on life experiences as opposed to money. Coleman has been inspired by our garden and the food processing and cooking we have done together over the years, and is now studying hospitality with the goal of owning his own restaurant.
Broke the stem off and cleaned the leaves and took the slugs off, and now we have a nice cabbage to make sauerkraut.
Owen is obsessed with fishing, fitness, and wellness, and has a very strong science mind and will be successful in whatever direction he directs his attention.
Second step in making sauerkraut, you have to cut the cabbage into strips. And that's pretty much the second step.
In the early days, summertime in Maine consisted of a lot of time around the house with two newborns.
Double team me for the last hour, non-stop, right? Yeah, this is it. Al's world, right? I thought you got crying. You're on camera. Come on. Yeah, that's a boy. Good work.
I think I may have lost some of my hearing back then. If nothing else, I certainly learned how to become very patient. Eventually, our summer experiences in Maine meant spending a lot of quality time together by getting the boys out on the trail, into the canoe, or on the boat when they were a bit older. Camping has also been a great bonding experience for the family, and it's perhaps one of my favorite times to self-reflect and disconnect from the world completely. This is just a place where if no one's camped lakeside in Maine, or for that matter, probably anywhere, I really highly recommend it. If you're in a remote area like this, it's incredibly peaceful and quiet. And if you really want to do some introspective soul searching or deep thinking or strategic planning or whatever it might be, this is just a fantastic place to do it.
Stop.
Oh, I just missed the perfect entry.
Nowadays, quality time means joining in on a game of Texas Hold'em poker, or perhaps getting out skating or skiing when they have their visits here in Maine. During summer, we still hike and get out on the water together and continue camping lakeside upstate as we always have. My boys have made great friend choices, and as a result, these fine young men often join us on our outdoor escapades. Bodie, is that you?
Yeah.
Woohoo! If you think living here in Maine at the age of 61 involves napping in the hammock in summer or dozing by the wood stove in winter, think again. I am incredibly busy. Here are just a few of the things I'm involved with during the course of the year. The first is maintaining the 200-year-old home and property. We essentially practice what I like to call modern homesteading. Just a few of our ongoing activities include firewood processing, maintaining the large garden and greenhouse, caring for the chickens, our small orchard, bees when they're not knocked over by the bears, maple syrup, raising and foraging for mushrooms, putting away food for winter, hunting, fishing, etc. The next thing is helping my fiancée, Mara, renovate and maintain her old home that she purchased back in 2021. and assisting with the raising of her 9 and 11-year-old boys. Since moving here full-time 3 years ago, I decided to open a disc golf course down the road on some raw land I acquired after leaving Pennsylvania. My 10-minute commute through the village, past the lake, blueberry barrens, boulders, and pine trees is incredibly relaxing. Personally, carving out an 18-hole disc golf course from a boulder-studded Maine forest can be physically challenging, but is also very therapeutic. The end results are being enjoyed immensely by local residents and summer folks who enjoy the sport. My son Owen has also spent the past 2 summers helping me clear fairways for our new course. This winter, we are in the process of burning off about 30 brush piles that were a result of clearing the last 6 holes this past summer. And finally, the last thing I've been putting quite a bit of time into the last 3 or 4 months has been building out this YouTube channel. The hundreds of hours I have spent have been both rewarding and frustrating for many different reasons. But all in all, I am enjoying the process of documenting my life and the lives of those around me, including my boys. I hope these memories last digitally for generations to come.
Oh, yeah.
The concept of slow living and engaging in mindfulness are commonplace for many folks living in rural areas. The social scene can be limited, but there is always something going on if you want to engage. I do find that many people who are attracted to these types of bucolic, less populated areas are very comfortable and content being by themselves or simply spending time with immediate family. The need for constant external stimulation and material possessions falls away and is replaced by a stronger connection to the moment, the land, the home, the change of seasons, and the natural world around you. Here in Maine, the outdoors is a big part of our lives. In summer, it becomes slow living on fast forward. There is simply way too much to do. It also allows for much more living in the moment, as opposed to living vicariously through others on social media platforms. Essentially, you feel much more in control of your life. The first sign of spring in northern parts of the U.S. can be spotted oftentimes by buckets, pails, and plastic tubing suspended from tree trunks. This is maple sugaring time of year.
We're drilling some holes here in some sugar maple trees here in mid-March to get some sap to cook down in an evaporator pan to make maple syrup. We need 40 gallons of sap from these trees to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. So it definitely takes some cooking down and a lot of volume of sap, but it's really delicious and it's really flowing well today. So I'm going to drill another hole here and stick a tap in here with a bucket on it.
Okay.
Now if you come in closer, you might actually be able to see some sap starting to flow. Yep, there it comes. They're really flowing.
Is that it? The white clear stuff?
Yeah, the clear liquid, it's like water.
It's like water,
You
guys.
can drink it. There's actually companies that bottle it like bottled water now.
Uh-huh.
So this is the spout that goes in, and there's a little hole right here that the sap will push up through once it's a tight fit. And now you should see it starting to drip. There it comes. That's really flowing. So now we're gonna hang the pail right from the hook. This is our friend's tree across the street, and this is where the alewives run behind us. In another month, they'll come up into the Walker Pond to spawn from the ocean. And there was an old mill here many years ago, but right now we're gonna put the cover on, and we'll come back here tomorrow morning, and this will be full. Actually, it'll probably be full by tonight. hung it.
He hung it on.
He didn't hang. Something happened. I don't know what he did. It wasn't hung on there right. He didn't have the nail at an angle at all. I just got soaked.
Springtime in many parts of rural America is invigorating. I have experienced the utter bliss of being serenaded by spring peepers at both the farm I owned previously in northeastern Pennsylvania and here in Maine. Ice out time on the lakes is prime fishing for landlocked salmon, brook trout, and soon thereafter smallmouth bass. Next come thousands of fireflies in the orchard, best experienced by taking an outdoor shower. Summertime in Maine is simply glorious. I will let the imagery speak for itself. September and early October in Maine are perhaps the best time of year. The striper fishing typically peaks in September. The bugs are all but gone, as are the majority of the tourists. The days are still pretty warm with lots of sunshine and the nights are crisp. The outdoor shower gets dismantled by the end of October and is replaced by evening fires in the wood stoves. For those that hunt deer, it is a time to sight in that rifle or crossbow and be on the lookout for buck rubs and scrapes. Fall finds daylight diminishing rapidly in these northern latitudes. By the winter solstice on December 21st, it can be getting dark as early as 4 p.m. So for those of you that are still watching and wondering about that thumbnail you clicked and what happened to that happy couple you saw, well, that's my very next subject, and I've saved the best for last. Her name is Mara. She has been by far my biggest life changer. We met online during the COVID debacle back in the summer of 2020. Mara was living in Brooklyn, having recently gone through an unpleasant divorce. I was in the process of the same. We first met at the farm I owned at the time in northeastern Pennsylvania. There was magnetism right from the start. Now in my early 60s, I find it ironic how we can live out the majority or oftentimes our entire lives without meeting that person who is ideally suited for us. Mara is that person for me. She makes it easy for me to check all the boxes. Mara is hard to describe, but let's just say she is old school and a loving, caring soul as beautiful on the inside as she is on the outside. We connected so well that a year after meeting, Mara pulled the trigger and in the summer of 2021, purchased an old fixer-upper farmhouse 2 miles down the road from me and moved herself and her 2 young boys here to Maine. I give her a lot of credit for taking that plunge. We spent the next 2 years renovating her house, We work together most every day.
Ooh.
At the disc golf course, on our houses, or on this YouTube channel. Tell us about what you would foresee for yourself when you went out on these walks. You know, you were telling me something would happen.
Well, I was at this place in my life that it wasn't great, and I didn't have really any hope.
Well, first of all, you're standing at the wrong spot because I think you were going to show this screen here. We're having some issues because we're
recording a scene.
I'm sitting in front of this wood stove way too much here in December doing these YouTube videos. Serial entrepreneur shares startup wisdom. These are my 3 different thumbnails, and I've been accused of what, Mara?
Spending too much time and disappearing to another realm, basically.
Are you reading a script off that phone, or are you looking at me? Okay.
If we want to take a day off to enjoy the wonders of Maine, we do it. Our time is our own. We bring in enough to be comfortable. Less becomes more. Mara's boys, Michael and Jackson, are thriving here at the smaller rural public school that seems to attract some pretty amazing teachers. As always for me, experiences trump stuff. Time in the garden, on the trail, or on the water resonates way more with my soul than sitting in traffic in suburbia. The pleasure I derive from creating, nurturing, and sharing experiences with like-minded individuals far outweighs any material and financial gains I might be able to make by being caught up in the matrix. With the accelerating pace of technology and remote work, I would encourage anyone considering making a life change to think about what really makes you happy to the core, and then start working a plan to take you there. Life is short, and time feels like it is speeding up. So I wish you all the best in making life choices that will bring you peace and harmony in the coming years. May you find your special place and that amazing person that bring you joy. Until our paths cross again, be well.